In the West Meteorological are monitoring an unusual August atmospheric river heading toward the Seattle area that could bring heavy rain in the fire-affected area to mountain terrain. For firefighters, that the rain double-edged sword, it can help extinguish active fires, but also increasing the risk dangerous runoffs, mudslides, and rapid rise in water level in small streams. Authorities have urged caution to flood-prone cyclone and reminded residents living near the affected areas to be alert to changing conditions. Climatologists say this season activity in the parts and broad patterns, a rising sea surface temperature and unusual atmospheric conditions to increasing to thunderstorms and may be changing to nature of precipitation, making heavy downpour more common in increasing the danger to the coastal area. The NOAA seasonal forecast continued to predict increasing tropical activity this year, reminding communities to need the rainfall evacuation plans, secure board and unsure outdoor items to prepare emergency kits. Investments in resilience infrastructure, from improving urban drainage to the rivers coastal definitions, are becoming to operational priority as emergency services seek to balance immediate response to long-term adaptation. Over 200,000 customers were left without electricity and boiled water notices were issued across multiple cities. The National Weather Service reported rainfall total up to 16 inches in parts of southwestern Texas. Meteorologists blamed the extreme weather as solid frontal body array combined by the warm, moisture rich air from the Gulf of Mexico. Climate experts from the University of Texas say punch prolonged and intense rainfall event to become more common, pointed to water sea surface temperature and shifting jet streams patterns. As floodwaters begin to recede, Texas and less comfortable in plans clean up to growing reality. These storms are not longer rare, they are a new dangerous normal. A massive and slow-moving storm system has plunged much to Texas into crisis, bringing life-threatening floods, destructive winds, and mass power outage across dozens of countries. At least 14 people have been confirmed dead, over 3,000 displaced, more than 215,000 were left without electricity, and floodwaters continue to surge across the state. In Houston, one of the worst-hit areas, over 17 inches of rainfall within 84 hours. East of mountains, heavy rain pounding Speckle Country, where water-loaded sloped slid into country roads and basements were flooded in minutes. Hospitals reported a sharp increase in storm-related injury, including forced carbonate moxidons, poison in indoor generation, and hypothermia among the motorists stranded on the roads. Utility crews restored service in neighborhoods at the time, but the official warning to raking in soil the trees could continue to fall even after sky cleared. Environmentalists think the washed-out travel the bus could destroy early establishment settlements, spawning grounds, undetermined to future recovery. Apple to hope growth in the Yakima Valley assessment standard water to end the damage. With the small related travel inventory, losers are here to holidays. Forecasters linking to even a powerful atmospheric river feeding to deep coastal depressions, ideal conditions to intense, locally exhaled rainfall. With the possibility another front-loading emergency, official urged residents to avoid flooded roads, photograph damage, and increasing climate to keep emergency kit ready. As the immediate threat subside, Washington incident to slow parks, reappearing leaves, subsiding slopes, and strengthening state in the first line in the Pacific storm track.
Làm nữa.
Forecast said the system trapped into deep tropical moisture with a powerful rain band swept over the came communities into hour. In Miami-Dade, in the case, a brink band spouted water loaded in a brief tornado warning, tearing in avenues to ripping type from the old roofs. We're asking people to they ever flooded road to turn back into drown station, urged country emergency service representative. Hospitals were treating patient and hypothermia and carbon monoxide poisoning from the generators. Shelters filled with the families and painted plastic containers. The volunteers hunted out traps, changing and dry socks. They will tell people to prepare supplies for 3 days, said the chief of the Coastal Fire Department. Help is one of the way by the first 74-hour depended on all of us. When the sky cleared, Florida first Tesla work on restoring power drainage area and mapping hiding damage to sea walls and a septic system. For the many storm was stuck remaining with a global warning, rising sea levels and heavier rains, and the next wave could come sooner and rising higher than the maps show. The Central Valley, known the national fruit and vegetable break, is suffered devastation losers in agriculture. Flooded fields and strawberries, already grits and citrus fruits could lead to months to shortage to high price across the country. Dairy farmers rush to mow in the heat, and the grain sell an erosion system to destroy it under the bird water. The Sierra Nevada faces double threat, heavy snow loads on the roofs followed the rapid melting and warm rain accelerated runoff. Avalanches have formed shoot to major ski resorts and a mountain town such as Turkey have been cut off from the world. More than 500,000 homes have been of several days continued to suffer from the power outage. Hospitals are treating their large number of cases and hypothermia, carbon monoxide poisoning from the dangerous up generating and storm-related injury. Emergency shelters have overflown, provided refuge to families who have been not able to return homes to wait. The National Weather Service issued dozens of tornado warnings with confirmed reports of tornadoes touchdown in rural area, Arkansas and Georgia. Footage shared online shows twisted metal outcomes vehicles and both torn apart. Climate scientists warn that such intense systems are becoming more common. Dr. Helena Carter of the Climate Impact Center said, "Warmer it holds more issue. When this system collided with a cold Canadian front, the result of explosion storms, the extreme rainfall and violent winds. Authority urged residents in the affected areas to remain alert to avoid running through the flooded roads and prepared for the additional outage and Batorite storms moved on to the east coast. For many communities, the cleanup has only just begun, and the full scale of the damage may not be known these days." An intense weather from the swept across California, dumping torrential rain from the coast to the Sierra and turning millions of tourists to the fast-flowing rivers. Communities from the Los Angeles to the Bay Area and the Central Valley forced flash flooding landslides in the area affected by the wildfires, and the river levels have pushed all dams to their limits. In the Sacramento, St. John's Data and along the American River, official rushed in the rainforest levels and the stacked sandbars and the overflowing canals sent infrastructure built for the different climate. States and federal agencies have accelerated dams to the flood protection project after a rapid dangerous situation, but the residents remain provide nervous and inspiration, assist separate erosions and weak spots. Agriculture and small businesses are counting the losers. Flooded fields, dumped in winter crops, and damaged banking plants, threatening comments, all discredited things in the previous disaster. Analyzed one then, insurance payments were the counts and the only factors by the losers. Much of the economy is bordered falls and insurance producers on the local economies. The situation for the people is dire. Risk from the ranging water, power outage, and shelters filling with up the families and pets. Officials are printing simple life-saving rules: turn around, don't down, document damage for the insurance claims, obey evacuation orders when the through planning said that the season should prove California and the statement levels, updates from the drainage system, and everything developing in vulnerable floodplains. Florida experienced a devastating coastal storm that hit the coast with the violence, with torrential rain, light theater and storm surge with the Big Bear, Tampa Bay, and the Sun Coast. In Long area, COS bridges alert the flooded combs. Inland, torrential windstorms streets in fast-flowing channels, overwhelmed drainage system and washing cars and flooded interactions. Emergency service continued hundreds of rescue operations from St. Petersburg to Dealkir. Gusts of winds broke power poles to separate debris across Darkness Avenue. The water rose clouds the fast-moving tide, said Angela Ruiz, San Tampa. 1 minute it was ankle deep, in the next it was a car. Airports restricted operations. Interstate Highway I-75 and I-95 were closed, and Barry Island were temporarily cut off. Bridges were changed for damage. Along the natural coast, still water flooded into mashless and essentials, threatening outlet farms, circuits, and starved by groves reported standing water that could remain for several days.
Assalomu alaykum do'stlar. Kranovщик bo'lib stroykaga жұмысқа kirdim. Kabinalar butunlay chirib qolibdir. Aylada yaxshi ekan, biroq ishlayveradi.
Torrential rain and severe thunderstorm battered much of Texas, caused widespread flooding, property damage, and mass evacuation in several counties. The multi-day weather event caused a slow-moving low-pressure system, causing chaos in the such as Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, and parts of East Texas. Horace County received more than 300 mm of rainfall in 36 hours, causing bayou, drainage canals, and flood control reservoirs to overflow. The Buffalo Bayou and the Bryce Bayou overflowed flood residential area to force an emergency service to conduct more than 500 rescue operations in Greater Houston area. Governor Greg Abbott declared a state of emergency in more than 13 countries, mobilizing Texas National Guard and activating Emergency Operations Center. This is not just heavy rain, Abbott said in a new conference. This is life-threatening flooding that require immediate action. In Austin, flash floods turned roads into rivers, blocking vehicles and forcing dozens of water rescue. Several low-lying crossings were washed away, and the schools in Travis County were closed to safety reasons. Meanwhile, in the Dallas, floods warned heavy rain overflowing through drained, closing major interstate highway, including section in I-35 and I-20. The National Weather Service issued a flood warning that most of central southwestern Texas, northern the saturated soil, and additional rainfall could prolong to the crisis. Experts from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration warned that the climate trends to contributing for more frequent and intense rainfall for the southern United States. Washington state was hit by a powerful Pacific storm that brought heavy rain, stormy winds, and early snow in the mountains from the coast of the Cascade Range. River along to I-5 corridor overflowed the banks, and landslides blocked key roads connected Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellingham. In the east, torrential rain swept through the Spokane region, saturating soil and that had already have been wrecked by the dry summer. Emergency service reported rescue operations in low-lying area along the Chiltese and the Scudder rivers. The water rose half a meter or less than an hour. People and minutes, not an hour, say Battalion Chief Elena Ruiz and Puget South Fire Department. Along the coast, storm force wind knocked down trees and power lines, leaving tens of thousands of people in the dark and forcing some ferry service in Puget Sound to suspended operations. On the paces, heavy wet snow and freezing rain turned Snuggle Me and Stearns into dangerous corridors. With God, crews rocked through the night to clear standard tracks and remove everland hazards. Travel is possible but not only absolutely necessary, warned spokesman. Volunteers walked through the night, placing standards around the area when the water ceased slipping through. This system was built in the centuries to come, warned flood manager Diego Cho, and the river is reminded us for the earth. In the Salas and Pacho valleys, farmers waded through the roads and flooded strawberries and let touch, dealing the direct blow in the state winter produce. Further east, heavy wet snow blanket in this side, Sierra Nevada went turning into rain, wetting out roofs and triggering avalanches to meltwater, thundering in a catchment bases below. Chris in a truck with South Lake through cleared water pipes, knowing the clogged pipe cloud load in the area and imagine a broken dam. Hospitals treated hypothermia, burns in carbon monoxide poisoned from the user generators indoors, shelters filled with families with pets and garage bands to be launching community organization 100 up traps chanting to hot metals. Official reappeared to all refrain, turn back, don't draw, and the drivers tested their lack in blanket rule. Forecasters said that this situation, warm seas, saturated soil, and suggestive storm turned original rain into crisis. When the skies finally clear, California will face a long day ahead, draining heats, inspiring dams and bridge, testing wells and inspecting system, and detailing crops losers. The alleged task will remain strangely in the state where the likely mine water and a composter falls 100 in the state longer where the wall recurrent on the maps. A powerful hailstorm swept across parts of the central United States late Tuesday, leaving behind a trail of destruction that circled from Oklahoma to Kansas. The storm filled the fast-moving cold front colder with warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico. Powdered hailstorms as large as a baseball as wind gusts exceeded 100 km/h. Meteorologists described the event as one of the most intense of the season. This was a textbook supercell outbreak, said Dr. Laura Jenkins from the National Weather Service. The size and density of the hailstorm caused significant structure damage even of reinforced rooftops. Residents in several towns reported shattered car windows, stripped trees, and power outage that left thousands in the darkness overnight. In Norman, Oklahoma, emergency crew responded to dozens of calls as the hail pressed through the skylights and flooded streets. It sounded like someone was throwing rocks by the house of hail an hour, said local resident Jason Miller. Air travel was also disrupted. Dallas Fort Worth International Airport reported more than 200 flights delayed.